What's going on, everyone? We got some huge news today about Archeage Unchained's upcoming fresh start. For those of you who are going to be playing it, this video is for you to keep you informed about everything that's going on with it. And that big news is that the ArtPass is not going to be in this fresh start of Archeage Unchained until the 4th season of the ArtPass begins. We are currently in the middle or towards the end of the 3rd season of the ArtPass, and it does not end until July 2nd. Now, assuming that the ArtPass is going to continue immediately after it ends on the 2nd, then we can assume that the next ArtPass Season 4 will begin on July 3rd. Now, what's going to be on that ArtPass, nobody knows yet, but following the current system that it is, that would still mean no gold on the ArtPass here. The only thing that would be, changing is what the rewards are on the basic track, really. And what no ArtPass really does for the server at the start is a lot, because they haven't said that they're going to be giving out extra labor or diligence like they did on AAU's launch when they disabled the ArtPass. It sounds like right now, from what they've said, that there's just going to be no ArtPass, no diligence, no extra labor recharges. So you are working with strictly what you have at the beginning in terms of labor and in terms of bag space. All right, bet people are probably wondering, oh, it'd be nice to have bag slots on the marketplace right now, because assuming that they don't provide any sort of extra diligence anywhere, then this is what you're working with for bag space right here. This is it. This is what you got for at least 3 weeks. So better figure it out now. Get used to mailing yourself a bunch of stuff. You can see right here, for example, boom, you can mail yourself items in order to clear up inventory space. That is a big thing you're gonna have to do. Also, be very careful with filling up your warehouse as well. It is also the same amount of inventory space, 50 slots. So you're gonna have a total of 100 slots of inventory on launch for at least 3 weeks as it currently stands. So that's really big. What this does is this slows progression a lot. If you did the math for it, where you factored in all the labor charges that you get over the course of an entire basic reward at the launch, plus all the diligence you get, and if you spent all of that diligence on labor recharges from the Diligence shop, it came out to about 110 labor refill potions that you would have access to. That is an abundantly large amount of extra labor that you would have at the start of a server that you're not going to have access to now. Overall, this is going to slow progression down quite a bit in terms of the speed in which people are leveling, as their labor is going to be severely gated now without those recharges and diligence. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I think it's actually better for the long-term health of the server, for people who do plan to play it long-term. I know that this server is kind of just a stop point, gap time filler for a lot of people as they wait for another game to come out that they're interested in playing. But you're losing labor, you're losing diligence, you're losing honor, and even on the current reward track, there's even something with selling bound undergarments as well as tickets that give you massive amounts of Cynthium shards that would allow for big costume and undergarment progress as well for pretty much free. So there is a lot of stuff. There's also, that means no fortune boxes either early on, which means no RNG, large amounts of gold coming from the ArtPass, from the reward track, and those with multiple accounts would have benefited from this even more so. So no ArtPass at the beginning of the server's life is pretty interesting, and honestly probably for the best. They said it themselves that, they don't want to implement a pass randomly in the middle of its current season for the fresh start server, and for anybody who might start a couple days late, this creates a big disadvantage for them, because they're not going to be able to complete the track versus somebody who was able to get in on day one, assuming that there aren't any server issues, so I can understand why they're doing that. So people who are planning to play for a while, you gotta wait till July 3rd at this moment for the ArtPass to come in. That's really big. Other big news that we got is that the launch time is currently scheduled for 4 p.m. Pacific time on the 11th. All right, 4 p.m. Pacific time on the 11th for NA, 4 p.m. CEST for EU. All right, so figure out what your schedule is going to be like. You got time. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen later on in the day. So people who are worried about, you know, having to go to work that day or whether or not they should take work off, for those of you who are working, because I know some people have already planned doing that, you don't have to worry about it. If you can change that, do so, because it's not going to launch until later in the day. They have to do the patch, and if everything goes smooth with the patch, great. If not, it could be delayed even later. Who knows? And the third big thing that's with this news today that we got is that Landlock is confirmed happening on the 20th. All right, we knew this for a while, or well, we assumed this for a while, because they told us that Landlock would not happen the immediate weekend following launch, as that would only be 2 days from the launch date, and that's just not enough time for people to prepare for land. So you are going to have 9 days to accumulate Gilda in order to get the land that you want. So if you want a thatched, you've got plenty of time to get a thatched. However, you're not going to get this nice extra hefty 50 Gilda here from the ArtPass that you normally would have had. So do make sure that you're getting on and doing, you know, Gilda activities that acquire Gilda, be them Blue Salt Brotherhood, Community Center quest, the Blue Salt Bond quest that they have there. Inside the Community Center, they're just like short little kill quests that cost 1 gold. They give a Gilda, all that. So this is going to introduce an interesting economy to Unchained at the very beginning. Not having this extra honor, labor, diligence, bag space, pretty much anything that you could get from the Diligence shop. Decrystallization scrolls, awakening scrolls, rune scribe quills. I mean, heck, I don't know if somebody was out there trying to get the Moby Drake in the first month. Probably not. But this will have an effect on the initial rate of progression in the server that you are going to see. So definitely keep your eyes on that. They kind of said, they said in the post specifically, word for word, they said it's going to be relatively impossible to acquire Diligence, mostly in like quotation marks, or in parentheses, until the ArtPass is introduced. So I don't know if they're gonna have like some kind of special event where you could maybe get a little bit of Diligence, but right now, for the most part, it doesn't sound like there's gonna be any Diligence until the ArtPass comes back on the 14th. So that is pretty exciting. This is going to open up a lot of different things for people, and it's going to set the pace of the server a lot slower than AAU's original launch. For those of you who remember AAU's original launch, these quests here had gold rewards on them. You were able to do them on alts, multiple characters on one account. That's another big thing about the server. There's only one character per account on the Fresh Start server. So you can only have one character for each account on that server. So you're not going to be able to do multiple passes on the same character. That alone was already going to slow progression, because before, what people were doing was they had 2 characters, same server, do the ArtPass on both characters, and collect the labor charges and diligence and honor from each of those characters. And it just allowed for a massive amount of labor for you to have built up, as well as diligence to buy other items on the ArtPass, on the Diligence shop. So that is also going to be something that is going to slow things down quite a bit. Those two things combined, the 1 character per server and there being no ArtPass at the start of the server, overall, the progression rate of gearing is going to be, I would imagine, dramatically slower than the AAU launch, because there's a big drop in gold, like acquisition. You know, there were people who were making over 1,000 gold a day from the ArtPass. Some people who were doing the ArtPass on 2 characters every day on multiple accounts were making, you know, 3,000 plus gold a day. And that was just unreal. It was insane. But so this is going to slow it down. There's not going to be a giant, you know, gold inflation this time around from the ArtPass. There's not going to be a massive inflation of labor, allowing people to rapidly progress their gear. I mean, I think there was somebody who had a glorious weapon in the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the game. It was unbelievable. But yeah, so overall server rate of progression going to be down a lot. Lifespan, who knows? Who knows? I don't think there's gonna be a lot of people playing this server that haven't already played AAU. Being of the price tag gate on it, it's $30 to play the Fresh Start server. If you have an AAU account, it's $50+ if you're a new player. That's a pretty hefty like price tag gate on a game that currently has a lot of negative attention around it. So you know, that's a lot to invest into a game that doesn't have a lot of good feedback around it right now from the general audience. So we'll see how that all plays out. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the three big things that we found out today regarding the Archeage Fresh Start launch. Those of you who weren't aware of it, now you are. We'll have another video coming out here in another day or two talking about things to do in order to have a relatively, like, you know, nice clean start in the game, and you know, just a few tips to get you started for those of you who are maybe a little overwhelmed about how, you know, how quickly this fresh start's happening and you're not prepared or anything like that. And for anybody who is a new player, we'll have a little updated video about that for you. But thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Stay safe, wash your hands, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace.